Few of the residents of Akureyri know that beneath the calm waters of their beloved fjord, or puddle as they often call it, lies the wreck of the vessel Standard that sank in 1917. Here we see a model of the ship. It was 60 metres long and 11 metres wide and built of oak. It had 3 masts and was built in America in 1876. Here it was used for ringnet herring fishing for the German Nordsee Company until the outbreak of the First World War. Here we see the bowsprit and the bows. The wreck lies on its starboard side in the shallows just 70 metres from the shore. Its new crew have made it their home. For instance, this sponge on the bows. There are still parts of the ship that remain in reasonable condition. The anchor was found in 2014. You can still make out the ornamental designs on the bullocks. In its time, Standard must have been a fine vessel. Here are chains that look like they might be as good as new with a bit of elbow grease. Here lies a windlass. The ship's wheel is still in place on deck, now decorated with a multitude of aquatic ornaments. Standard was towed here every summer from Nordenheim in Germany, and served as a mothership during the herring season from the middle of July until the middle of September. Here we see the stairway in the aft, now carpeted with sponges, and we can then follow the tiller shaft down to the keel. The Standard was kept at anchor in the middle of the fjord, where the fishing vessels landed their herring catch for salting on board. At the outbreak of the war, the vessel was impounded and moored, but in a storm in 1917 it broke loose from its moorings and sank. The German company Nordsee was taken over by Deutsche Fischfang Union, which later was overtaken by the Akureyri company Samherjar. So you could say that at last the vessel has come into the hands of the locals. The decks are now decrepit, though the hull is still fairly well intact. It's possible to dive into the hull if you find a decent opening and carry a good lantern. And if you manage that, there's lots to see. Here we can see a block which was used to secure the rigging. A surprising feature of this wreck is how much still remains intact. Other ships wrecked at similar times have broken down and rotted in just a few years. A wreck at nearby Krossanes is almost completely gone. Perhaps this ship was made of high-grade oak, or perhaps the shipworms that devastate wooden ships have given the puddle a wide berth. Finally, we see another ship's wheel from the Standard, which was recovered from the wreck a few years ago. It now stands proudly as a sculpture in front of the headquarters of the Strýtan diving company at Hjalteyri.